It's week 6 of the NFL season. Last week, Tony Romo threw for 506 yards and 5 touchdowns, further cementing his place among Cowboys fans as the worst quarterback to ever exist. I'm Kevin Clark. I'm with Geoff Foster, my editor here at the WSJ Sports Desk. Jeff, look, Tony Romo had a performance everyone's talking about from last week against the Broncos. He put up 48 points. It's time to take the temperature of the quarterbacks a little bit in the NFL. We're through 5 games. We sort of see where everyone's at this season. First of all, where do you stand on Romo?
Well, I mean, we've just seen this so many times. He's obviously an above-average passer. He's a good quarterback, but it's happened too much. And frankly, like if he was a place kicker and he was making his field goals all regular season, yet missing the kick every time it mattered, every time they needed to make the playoffs or every playoff game, he'd be out of a job. So I think it's happened one too many times.
I don't know. He'd be booming 60 yarders.
I understand the frustration.
If he was a kicker, he'd be booming 60, 65 yards. He'd be Janikowski, basically. He'd still be in the league. I really like Tony Romo. I wrote this in this week's paper. I got a lot of hate mail for it. Listen, best quarterback by passer rating in the fourth quarter among active quarterbacks. He has some unbelievable numbers on Sunday night games, especially in the fourth quarter. Like, if you look at the statistics, and we're an analytical sports desk here, you have to realize that Tony Romo is a really good quarterback. I don't care what he's done 4 or 5 times.
He's won one playoff game in his career.
All right.
Tim Tebow's won one playoff game in his career.
Let's not get into the clutch stuff here. That's for other people to decide.
At the end of the day, wins matter the most.
Okay, well, no, and he wins a lot. He just not when it's Sunday night or Monday night or
games.
All right, whatever. Yeah, okay. So let's keep on the subject of quarterbacks and go to an unpopular opinion that's emerged this year so far. What do you got?
Well, I don't know how unpopular this opinion is, but I'm ready. I've seen enough to put Terrell Pryor in the category.
Let me stop you right there. It's very unpopular.
In the category of up-and-coming, exciting young quarterbacks. If I was an Oakland fan, which I'm not, I would be very excited.
You sound like an Oakland fan because this is a homer pick.
I don't like Oakland at all. But I'd be very excited about this guy. We always knew, when he came out of high school into the college, he's this elite athlete. Most people didn't think he'd be an NFL quarterback because of his passing, but each week he seems to get better at passing, and while everyone was sleeping that late night game, his passing was terrific, and he's not exactly throwing to Tim Brown out there. He's throwing to Rod Streeter. So I'd like to see him continue to get better, and I think he could actually turn that into a decent football team. Not a playoff team, but a decent team.
All right, I have a very unpopular opinion, and it's Russell Wilson isn't that great. When you look at his team, they're stacked. They have an offensive line that's amazing. Obviously had some injuries thus far this year, but really he gets protected a lot. He has a 41% accuracy rating when there's pressure on him, when he's being blitzed. That's not great. Robert Griffin III completes 67% of his passes in the very same situation when he has guys in his face, guys blitzing. I just think that really, look, Wilson has a lot of talent around him. He's got a great defense, but they scored 30 points once this year against the Jaguars. You and I could score 30 points
but they
against the Jaguars.
don't really need to pass to win.
I know, but that doesn't mean he's a great quarterback. Okay. I think that he too early was ushered into this group of the Lucks and the Griffins and even
and the Pryors
and right, of course, the Rodgers, right? Pryor and Rodgers are tied there for the top spot after Manning. I just think that we moved way too fast on that. I think we need to take a step back. They've struggled in some games. They struggled against Carolina. They lost obviously last week. So I just think that Wilson, let's take a step back and analyze what he is. Now, if we don't, we know who the worst quarterbacks in the NFL are. Guys like Blaine Gabbert, Terrell Pryor, if you will. But among the quarterbacks who are firmly entrenched, who is the worst one? Who's in crisis right now?
This year, it's got to be Eli Manning. I mean, no one quarterback has done as much to hurt his team as he has. The guy is completely lost. The team itself said he's trying to do too much. You look at the deep ball, it's completely out of his repertoire. They're not connecting on any of them. I know he's got problems with the offensive line and the running game's not there, but he's just not playing well at all. I mean, you look at last week, he had 3 interceptions and he had 3 intentional groundings, which is loss of down in 10 yards. Right. So that's basically 6 drives he single-handedly gave the ball to the other team. So he's not putting his team in a position to win at all. I know they have a lot of problems, but he has got to straighten it out soon.
So how about Andy Dalton in Cincinnati? I know
the team that just beat the Patriots.
I know, but look, Andy Dalton, there were questions about his arm strength coming into the NFL, and they sort of went away because he made the playoffs, but he hasn't been that great, especially deep. 27% completion rating when he throws between 20 and 30 yards, 16% completion when he throws 30 to 40 yards. That's ridiculous. An NFL quarterback these days has to be able to throw the deep
he's
ball.
Got the best
he's got
receiver
AJ Green. Really, there's no excuse for a 16% completion percentage in that spot. I just think that maybe Cincinnati's being held back by him, not helped by him. Real quick, wrapping up, upset pick. Go ahead, Jeff.
I've said the Raiders. I got to go with the Raiders. Okay. We wrote a story today, the Raiders and the Chiefs, of all the interdivision rivalries, it's usually the closest. Oakland's done pretty well against Kansas City in recent history. I know this is obviously a different Kansas City team, but why not? I like to see an upset there.
Okay, I got Buffalo over Cincinnati. Buffalo starting Thad Lewis, who no one's
you're
ever
taking
heard
Buffalo.
of. Yet I'm taking Buffalo. I think Cincinnati's defense
From
is
the
taking the year
football
off.
powerhouse of Duke.
Right, exactly. So I just feel like in Buffalo, crowd's gonna be going wild. Remember, they're still not out of it. So I think that they could surprise people. Cincinnati coming off an emotional win over New England. I like it.
All right.
Anyway, that's it for us. Good luck with Week 6, and I hope your week is going to go better than Terrell Pryor's, because it's not going to go well.